by the collar, grabbed us and took us away from everyone. So we have just got on the plane and we're ready to take off.
Yeah, we're sitting in row 34, seats J and K. Carl's not the biggest fan, he's usually sat on the aisle, which he's not.
Probably on the aisle because I feel like it's safer.
If someone sits there, we will politely ask if they wouldn't mind sitting here. But if not, this is where we sat.
Guys, what happened to us in Egypt?
We literally got on the plane like we would do any other time with no idea what was about to happen to us.
I can believe it. We got on Egypt Air from Greece.
And no one said a thing.
Not a single thing was said.
And how was that for you?
The flight was quite nice. Quite nice doing short flights. We were a little bit teary at the start. But other than that, it's okay. We all have fears. And mine is a huge fear of flying. So I fly around the world.
Time to get our visas, baby.
Time to get our visas and go see some pyramids. So we get off the plane and we think everything is absolutely fine. We got off the plane just like you would at any other place, any other airport. And I mean, Cairo airport, it was quite nice.
It was clean.
It's like any other Arabic airport. Very grand, very lovely. The people are welcoming until you get to the arrivals land.
So we have travelled through a lot of Europe countries. We have done our research, we have registered our drone, and we didn't realise that that was going to be the one thing that was going to cause an entire disaster at this airport.
So we went through the entirety of Europe and we registered our drone in every single country. So I did my research about Egypt and I knew that we couldn't fly our drone. It was prohibited to fly a drone, buy and to sell a drone. I didn't see anywhere that just possessing a drone was illegal.
Literally having it in your bag was a problem.
And basically we just thought we would turn up. We were there for 3 days. We absolutely weren't planning on flying the drone at all, but we definitely weren't thinking we would be punished, harassed, and everything that we're just about to tell you that happened to us. So we've now gone through the entire airport, we're having fun, and we're sort of following the crowds because you don't really understand everything that's happening or where people are going and how to get our visa. So as we're coming through, we noticed that a lot of people are queuing up outside the bank. Patrick, being very beady-eyed, noticed a sign stating that you need to go to the bank to register and get your visa. So we thought, right, okay, we had a look, there was a bank, there was loads of people standing outside, so we got in the queue.
Why not?
As we were in the queue, this guy was coming around and he was asking everybody if they're paying in cash or card. So he came up to us when it was our turn and asked us if we're paying on card, and I said yes. So I said, well, what if we pay on cash? And he said, oh, do you have cash? Do you have cash? And I said, yes. He said, American dollar? I said, yes. He said, come with me. So we thought, great, we're going to skip the queue. We can pay somewhere around. We're a little bit cautious. We're very, very cautious travelers. So we try and avoid situations that aren't around other people.
We don't trust anyone.
But this particular time, we thought, this guy's okay. He had a badge.
Yeah.
He had a badge. So if you have a badge, you seem legit. You're inside the airport. We haven't got to the lounge yet where other people can come in. We're still on this side of customs. So as we're walking, he then said to us the first thing that scared us about Egypt. He said to us, where are you staying? We said, oh, we're staying at the Nine Pyramids Hotel in Giza. And immediately he stopped and he said, you're staying at the Nine Pyramids. Oh, be careful, be very, very careful. I mean, they're very, very backhand.
Very dodgy.
As soon as we get there, the first thing that we have realized is that our hotel is run by the mafia.
Yay!
So we're thinking, we're a little bit dubious. We were like, right. The next thing that happened, number 2, was that he immediately said to us, my friend, are you going to the pyramids? Of course you're going to the pyramids. Take my friend's number. I will give him a call. I'll give him a call. The next thing I know is I have this guy's mobile number inside my phone. This guy is on the phone to me on the other guy's phone, and we're discussing a 9 a.m. pickup every single day for the next 4 days to take us to the pyramids of Giza. And so I'm thinking, I'm so uncomfortable with this. I didn't say yes. I didn't say anything. What I decided to do was I said, I will message this person and we will discuss arrangements. He then says to us, is this your first time in Egypt? And we say,
Yeah,
yes.
because it's my first official time in Egypt. It's Kyle's second, but he went to Sharm. But it's our first official time in Cairo.
Yeah, we've never been, so we answered him honestly, not thinking anything of it. And he said, you never tell people this is your first time in Egypt.
Never.
So I was thinking, oh gosh, okay, no, it's not. It's our second time. No, third time. Okay, third time. Or more.
We've been here 10
We've been here. We
times.
come here every week. This is a weekly thing for us. So as soon as I got rid of this guy at the airport, and I said, thank you very much for, your friend who's going to come pick us up, and thank you very, very much for telling us about the hotel that we're staying in that we cannot cancel or can't change at all. So that's brilliant. Thank you so much. As soon as we walked away, I messaged the other guy on WhatsApp and I said, I do not want your services. Thank you so much for your time. And then I blocked him on WhatsApp because I thought, cut the communication. I don't want him having my number. I don't want anything that's going on. And then we get to customs.
So we've done the visas, we've stamped ourselves in, we are fully ready to enter Egypt, head to our hotel and get on with our trip. But we just need to pass through customs.
So as we're going through, we noticed that there's a queue of everyone, men and women, and they're all wearing different things from different countries and things like that. So we just joined the queue. This guy is letting all the girls in, all the women in, all the men in, and then he gets to us and he just picks us out of nowhere and comes up to us and says, have you got a drone? And it took me a moment to sort of process what he was saying at me, because he obviously said it in his accent, and he repeated it, coming right up in my face, and he said, have you got a drone? And I said, yes, I do have a drone. And he, by the collar, grabbed us and took us away from everyone. We were then escorted off to another place, a few hundred meters to the right hand side, into this tiny little place with these officers standing there, and we immediately get interrogated.
So he took us to the side and we had to scan our bags again. We had to get out the drone that we had claimed to already have, hand them the drone, but that wasn't enough.
And immediately hand them our passports.
We had to search our bags. Kyle's bag got put through the scanner again because he didn't trust that we only had the one drone, that we must have one each. Kyle ended up pulling every single piece of clothing out of his bag to show this gentleman we did not have a second drone.
He kept on shouting at me. He said, where is the other drone? Where is the other drone? I said, I do not have another drone. You asked me the first time if I have a drone. I answered you honestly. It's not like I lied and then you found me to be lying. I told you the truth. We only had one drone. And now on the second time, you're saying to me, where is your drone? Where is your drone? So I'm pulling out all of my pants, all of my trousers, all of my t-shirts, everything. And you can see that I do not have a drone. So I got a little bit angry with him for treating me that way, but it gets worse.
So we were told that we would have to give them the drone, and he took my passport with the drone and would not give it back to me, would not let me have hold of any of it. If they take the drone, they take the drone, but I want my passport. We both know one rule of travelling: you never let your passport out of your sight. Where possible, don't let it out of your hands. I did not have that option. He had it, and that was it. After clearly seeing that we were very anxious and getting very worried about what's going to happen to us and why is this even happening in the first place,
It's about 45 minutes at this point.
he did say to me, after shouting at us, telling us to sit down, basically spitting at us and treating us like vermin, he saw the panic on my face and said to me, look, this happens a lot. Drones aren't allowed here. People come with drones. We are going to take your drone, lock it up, give you a receipt, and when you come back, you just give us the receipt, we get the drone, and off you go.
And we thought, happy days. No trouble,
Fine.
nothing further needs to happen.
So we get told to sit down and wait, which we do. Another like 15 to half an hour goes past. Someone comes to get me, collects the drone and the passport, and I walk away. I spend about an hour sitting in a room with an Egyptian guy, writing up about my drone. The drone has been tied shut with rope, super glued with a little craft gun, onto a piece of cardboard where they wrote some information, clearly potentially stating that it was my drone, and then that was locked away.
I mean, he had a glue gun. So it's like he has an arts and crafts shop just out the back. He's glue gunning the whole drone together. I mean, it's crazy.
I did put my own padlock on because I just wanted security. I took everything out that wasn't drone related because we carry a few bits here and there in it. But after that first hour, I was able to go back to Kyle, waiting in the customs area, and gave him the thumbs up from across the room, like, yeah, got my receipt, let's go. So we start putting the bags on and they stop us. Whoa, what are you trying to do? What are you doing? Where are you going? And we were like, well, you've got the drone, we're going to go now. And they were like, no, you sit down.
They were shouting at us. You say, you sit down, you sit down. They're spitting at us, coming into our face, forcing us to sit down. And I said, we have just been sitting down on a flight, and now we've just been sitting down for the last hour whilst you take our passports out of our sight, whilst you glue gun our drone, whilst you make us feel like vermin after I've pulled everything out of my bag. I'm going to stand up now.
And they said the police are going to need to question you. For what?
Yeah. What?
So-
We're being interrogated by the police now. So about half an hour later, about an hour later, we sat down for a good long time, and 3 police officers then come around the corner, and they don't even look at me. They just look at Patrick, because he was the one who happened to have the drone in his bag. I actually bought the drone, so it's actually mine, but it's his at the moment, so I'm free. And they come over and they take Patrick away. First of all, they take him away just straight over the airport. I can see him through a plant, round the information desk, just in the corner by a room, and I'm like sort of waving and doing all the thumb signals like, are you okay, how you doing? And he's doing them all back to me, and he's just standing there, and I'm thinking, right, what are they saying to him? What are they going to do? Because there is one piece of information we do not want them to find out.
That I love you.
Because that is also a criminal offence.
After that, I was then escorted into an elevator, went down a couple floors, don't know how many, to come out onto a corridor with armed guards. Felt wonderful.
He was completely out of my sight. I had no idea what was going on with him. I had no idea if he was okay, if he was panicking. Because at this point, I'm sat down and it's been well over an hour and a half or so that he's now been gone, and I've seen that he's now moved away. No idea. This guy's still looking at me, and I have no idea, because the main thing as well is when we were coming off the plane, we had someone from our hotel, a taxi man was waiting for us to pick us up. So we thought we'd just get off of the plane, we'd come out into the arrivals section, departure lounge, whatever it's called. We'd come out into the arrivals and this guy would be standing there with our names. Then we'd get in, it's an hour to Giza, where we were staying at the hotel that's run by the mafia, and things were okay. So now that it's been about 2.5 hours, and another hour and a half after the first hour, I'm thinking this poor guy is either waiting for us or he's gone. So we've now lost our ride back, and there's no way, I have no way of connecting to the Wi-Fi in the airport, because Cairo airport only allows you to connect to the Wi-Fi if you have an Egyptian SIM card. So note,
Yes.
you do not get Wi-Fi in Egypt.
The option is there, it looks like it's there, but it doesn't work.
It's not there. And we didn't want to turn on our roaming because it's extremely expensive to turn on your roaming. So there was no way that I could contact them without asking for tourist information, but we'll get to that bit.
So I'm down in the basement with armed guards, and I'm sat outside a chief police office, and the guy who is escorting me, I turned to him and I said, like what's going on, how long are we going to be? And he's like, 1 minute. I ask him again another half an hour later, and he still says 1 minute, so clearly 1 minute is a little bit different time frame to what I'm used to. But
it's a long minute. I'd like to know which calendar they use.
Maybe the Agoran.
Maybe. That's a big word for you. Well done. It's more than 4 letters.
And I enter this office and I get interrogated as to why. I get told I clearly don't know the rules, that I've not done my research. Why did I bring a drone in? And I said, got a little bit annoyed at this. I have done my research, I wasn't going to fly it. I knew what the rules were in Egypt. I have come from Greece, you're holding my UK passport. I have not flown to your country to start doing backhand black market drone selling.
Yeah, we're not going to sell it because we love a drone. We're also not going to buy one because we have a drone. And we're not spies because we're not intelligent enough to become spies. So...
But that turned out to be one of many interviews that I received. In total, I received 3 interrogation interviews over the span of 3 hours.
So we've now been in the airport 5 hours. I'm sat down on my bum and standing every now and then and being told when I stand to sit down. And Patrick's being interrogated. I have no idea if for the last 3 hours he's actually just
sat in a cell.
He's in Cairo prison. Got no idea. No one's talking to me. No one's saying anything. So however much it was scary for you, it was more scary for me, because I was thinking, where is he? What's he doing? At least you knew what was happening to you.
Ish. I didn't know where I was going to move to next.
But I was really worried because I was thinking, right now I'm single, so I can't even download Tinder. I can't do anything.
It's Grindr.
So yeah, for you maybe. And so we're then freaking out. A little while later, he then comes back and I see Patrick and I'm like, hi, how are you? Like a little puppy when you come home, because I had finally seen him and I was like, is everything okay? Is everything good? And then he goes, no. Oh, right, okay, well, what more is happening? What he meant by that is, no, everything's not okay, but I am being let out.
And that was the first time in about 5 to 7 hours that I touched my passport.
Yes.
And they were like, didn't say, like, there you go, sorry for all of this, thank you very much. Mm-hmm. First intro did have finished with, thank you so much, Mr. Johnson, welcome to Egypt.
It was a great welcome, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And one thing that we always have, our biggest tip, is you never, no matter where you are, let your passport passport out of your sight. You can let people hold your passport, but you don't ever. You are entitled, you have the rights to not let anyone take your passport. However, in Egypt, they did not give you the chance. They took it straight away and would literally not let you have your passport no matter how much you are. And in these places, there is a lot of corruption, and you have to be very, very careful, because if you annoy someone, everything could go downhill for you, especially because we find out once we have internet later on, a few hours later or so, well, 5 hours later, we found out that actually the possession of a drone in Egypt is prisonable up to 7 years. So we were let off lightly. So we are very grateful, but we're not quite happy with the experience that we experienced, because the guy said this happens all the time. They do not interrogate people for 5, 6 hours every single time this happens. People must come into the country all the time with drones. We understand that it's illegal to fly it and buy and sell, because you want to sort of keep it under wraps as to process and who has drones and where are they. You know, you need to limit that. People who have drones and that you're going to confiscate it at the airport, just confiscate it. I don't care. Take my drone, I'll have it back later. I wasn't planning on flying it anyway. We didn't give you any grief. We honestly told you, here it is. We do have a drone. Please take it, super glue it, gun it, you know, do whatever you want. Wrap it up in bubble wrap. We really don't mind, because it's just something to open later on, like Christmas. And so we then let out. We then walk past and we think, is anyone going to stop us? What's happening? And we come into about 200 taxi drivers asking us if we want a taxi.
You want a taxi?
You would think after the first 50 or 100 have asked you that all the other ones after
would get the hint
that I don't want the taxi, because I'm not suddenly going to go, oh yeah, I do want a taxi. Don't want a taxi. I just want to sit down for a second. I might want to go for a pee, because I've been waiting for about 6 hours.
Might want to cry.
Whilst Patrick was away for the last 3 hours, I actually managed to escape my little room, because he said to me, oh, you're fine, you can go. So I was thinking,
you've done nothing wrong.
Is this my opportunity? But I didn't take it. And so I went outside to try and find this particular taxi man who might still be waiting for me 5 hours later. And it turns out that he was not waiting, because we went to tourist information and we thought, right, if anyone here is going to give us an honest answer, we'll talk to tourist information. So we stand over and we talk to him, and he says, where are you staying? And I said, I'm a little bit worried about where I'm staying, but can you please just call them? So after about 5 minutes of him trying to sell other hotels, knowing that I'm asking him just to call a hotel that we're staying at, that I have paid money to stay at, he is persistent that we stay on a boat hotel. We don't want the boat hotel. So
no, thank you.
He called them anyway. He called the Nine Pyramids Hotel and we spoke to them. And the lady said, oh, well, we never sent anyone in the first place. Oh, right, okay. Well, I mean, I'm glad that you didn't send anyone, because he would have waited 5 hours, bless him, or have to drive back, because it's an hour journey from Cairo airport to Giza. And she said, but... And then I said, well, hang on, well, what if nothing did happen to me? I would have come out into the airport and no one would have been there for me. What do you mean you didn't send anyone? Well, can you send someone now? And then I thought, oh, hang on a second, no, that's going to be another 2 hours before I get there. I also think that it's run by the mafia, so I just said to her, look, I don't know if we're going to stay. Let me just compose myself for a moment. So I speak to Patrick in between trying to say no to this boat hotel, that this guy is still persistently telling us that we should go and stay on this boat hotel on the River Nile.
Good hotel.
Now, when we're talking about it, I then say to Patrick, right, we need to go on our internet quickly and book somewhere else. Let's just book somewhere near the hotel. We have had a horrific time. It is 11 p.m. at night time. So if we wait for the hotel to send us a guy and come back, it's going to be 1 a.m. before we get there. An hour here, pick us up, an hour back. I don't want to get there at 1 a.m. I just want to go to bed now. I want to sleep. And so we then decide, I go on booking.com quickly, I find us a hotel, and then I get a text message from O2, our carrier in England, and they say you have spent £100. It must have been 6 minutes, maybe max, that I was on the internet. £100. So I shut it off immediately. And then I said to Patrick, right, we have a small window. Because we can't connect to the Wi-Fi, you need to go onto booking.com. He goes onto booking.com immediately. He gets the booking. He blah, 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 blah. And we finally book somewhere. And then he gets a text message. He has also spent £100. So within 10 minutes, we have spent £200 plus £350 for this hotel at the airport.
On top of the one we've already paid
on
for.
top of the 180 that we've already paid for the one in Giza. See, the one in Giza was half the price, and we wanted to stay in somewhere a little bit nicer because it's Egypt. So now we've paid double the price of somewhere nicer. Oh, it was an absolute nightmare. And so as we've booked it, this guy then sits down and he's next to Patrick. Patrick is like this.
Looking at you.
And he's tapping Patrick and he's saying, excuse me, excuse me. And Patrick is being cold and is saying, I don't want to talk. I don't want to stay in this boat hotel. And he says, no, but it's really, really good. I say, just booked somewhere. Literally just booked somewhere. I then showed him the reservation on Pat's phone and he turns around and he says, oh, well, let me get you a taxi. Very good rate, very good rate. Oh, God. So yes, okay, fine. We'll take a taxi. It's absolutely fine. It wasn't a good rate because we could see the hotel.
We told him we were going to walk and he said, no, you can't walk.
You can't walk. It's inaccessible for walking. But I could see the hotel. Anyway, we ended up paying, I think, $16 to drive about 2 minutes down the road. And then we get in the taxi, we arrive at the hotel, but it's not over yet.
We enter the hotel, we have to go through security again. And the tripod that we are currently using right now, which is a monopod with a tripod on the bottom, was questioned for a weapon. And
she was
like,
furious.
She was like, what's this? Tell me what this is. What is this?
We had to open our bags.
We went into, we're game players, we like to play a lot of games. We were in game mode, charades, and this was our moment.
We got out the selfie stick.
We were like, we even like put the phone into it and we're like, photo.
Selfie, it's not a baton.
And she was like, fine.
She was a little bit embarrassed that she mistook a selfie stick for a baton, but we just weren't in the mood to laugh.
No, so we checked into our hotel, we went up to our room, and I cried for 15 minutes.
Here is a little clip of Patrick trying to tell a joke on the way to our room.
Do you want to play poker? So after what's known as a show in the airport that I have actually cried numerous times now, this is how you eat your feelings over here with Ellis and Johnson.
We've had the most horrendous night. We booked our tour directly from our hotel. It was €109 together, which I feel like is quite steep considering the country you're in. However, it is the biggest attraction possibly that there is, you know, guys. It's the blooming pyramids. Come on. So it's a 5-hour tour, a pickup and a drop-off. We drove through the center of Cairo. We explored the bustling street, the craziest things. We then drove alongside the River Nile, which in itself was incredible to do. To say you're literally on the River Nile. You know, we crossed it. As we're driving along, you can see the pyramids in the distance and your heart is just pounding. Seeing them with your own eyes is an indescribable experience. We've spent our entire life learning about them, hearing about them, longing to see them, trying to understand the astronomical size of them. And then you find yourself standing at the base of the Great Pyramids of Egypt. The tour guide was amazing. He allowed us free time to take photos, take in the sights, walk around and discover for ourselves the park. We took loads of selfies, loads of videos. You know about the drone, there are no drone shots. And even if we had our drone, we wouldn't have even sent it up. He was incredibly informative, and I must say, after hearing other people's guides, I did have a sigh of relief for his enthusiasm and knowledge. He knew literally everything, the entire history. He could probably point out every single brick and where it came from. You have a chance to enter the largest pyramid and the second largest one. And a fun fact for all you historians out there, the Great Pyramid was built by King Khufu and his son built the second one. But he wasn't allowed to build the same size or bigger than the original, so he built his on higher ground to make the height even. Then his son built the third one. So it's literally King Khufu, his son, and his grandson built the 3 pyramids. Patrick was the only one of us who could stomach exploring inside the pyramid. I definitely didn't fancy entering. If I did, I just knew it would be the rarest of times that it would just collapse, because that's just my luck. So, no. But the true story is I'm just claustrophobic and scared of absolutely everything that there is in life. So we then get driven round to this incredible viewpoint around the back of the park where all 3 pyramids can be seen in a line. I mean, wow, it was incredible. Then the photo shoot happened. So we are at the pyramids of Giza in the Sahara Desert. Guys, look at that. Oh my gosh.
3 temples, one for the king, one for his son, one for his grandson.
And then there are other smaller ones.
For the queens.
Although the queens might have had a smaller one, actually in those times still to make one for the queens was just amazing. Power to the women. If all of this wasn't enough, we then went to the Sphinx. My gosh, standing proud and almighty like the presence of a god guarding the pyramids is literally what it is. It was what it was intended for, and it is still standing today guarding the very same pyramids it was meant to guard thousands of years ago. Is a marvel in itself. It's quite daunting actually to be standing there looking up and seeing its magnitude. Oh my gosh. After the tour of Giza Park, we ended the tour with a free private session in an essential oil apothecary. I mean, isn't that just the most random excursion? But it was amazing. We smelt, we tried, and we bathed in the most incredible scents, all native to Egypt. It was a beautiful day, an incredibly inspiring day, and a memorable day we are never going to forget. So I'm currently waiting at passport control for Patrick, who has been escorted off again to try and get our drone. A little bit terrifying because I don't really know where he is, if he's okay, what he's doing, but I have faith. I'm going to trust it and wait for him. And I'm just waiting while I wait. What I'm doing. So we're together again. We made it, and Patrick is here filming. Now we're on our way to our gate, E05, together on the Qatar Airways. So yeah, all is good, and we have the drone. Yeah. Thank you, Egypt, for a conflicting time. The journey wasn't easy, but my gosh, we were glad we made it. We'll see you again, Cairo.
We're in Qatar.
So we're off our plane in Qatar. Now we're just waiting for our transfer. The ride was a little bit bumpy, but it was okay.
Paid for Wi-Fi.
Pay for Wi-Fi. Didn't really get Wi-Fi. It says it could reach speeds up to 50 megabytes per second, which is amazing. And I think we got about maybe 2. So nearly there. Woo!
Uploading? No.
Asked us to rate the Wi-Fi, so I did. And now we are on our way trying to get through the transfers, but because Patrick had the drone, his bag is checked underneath. He's a little bit dubious about, because of everything that's going on at the moment with all the luggage, about his luggage going from this plane to the next plane, but I have faith for us, and hopefully I reckon it will be absolutely fine. So we'll catch you guys in the air. Bye.
Bangkok, baby.